And it's Training Tuesday. And we're here Tuesday, 6 o'clock, East Coast time. And thank you all for being here. Welcome to Training Tuesday. I know we had last week off. I'm very happy to be back this week. And I am going to do something a little bit different for the next few weeks. As always, we're going to come in here on Training Tuesdays and we're going to talk about issues and themes related to our work and how we're navigating our work environments and the challenges that come up and all that good stuff. Still our focus, still what we're doing. But what I wanted to do for the next few weeks, as we're getting through the holidays and it can be a little bit stressful, is I wanted to also make it a little bit more fun. And so I'm going to tie certain work themes over the next several weeks with different chakras, right? With different points and energy spheres in our body as a way to help us not only manage what's happening at work and career challenges and the things like that we face, but also to get us a little bit more connected and grounded with ourselves, with our physical selves, our emotional selves, our mental selves over the next several weeks as we're now in this end of year crunch and it's holidays. And so right now, it's a little frenetic, right? I mean, we are trying to achieve inhuman feats of shopping and of cooking and of meeting work deadlines still because there's an end of year crunch to things. And so during this period of time, our stress levels go up, our credit card bills go up. If you're like me, our scales go up, and sometimes our insecurity also goes up. Now, because companies also are going through stress at the end of the year, right? They have end of year goals they're trying to hit. They have budgets they're trying to balance. They have money they're trying to spend or money they're trying to save at the end of the year. Employees are trying to hit certain goals, hoping that they get a bonus paid out, right? All this kind of stuff is happening, which means our work environments become very unstable sometimes. They become very uncertain, unbalanced. So what I want to do is take some time tonight to talk about kind of what's happening in the work environment, what's happening in ourselves, and how does that actually tie back to our chakras. So like I said, I'm going to cover this topic of chakras over the next couple of weeks, and we will tie it back to work stresses and our work environment and all that good stuff that's going on. So as we get started, as always, my name is Natalie Hahn. I am CEO of Dirty Girls Consulting, and welcome to Training Tuesday. Now, as always, I'd love for you guys to say hello in the chat. Let me know where you are listening in from. Would also appreciate it actually tonight if you could tell me if you can hear me okay, because I was doing some sound tests earlier today and the volume was not consistently coming through. So I'm hoping that you guys can actually hear me tonight and that my tech is cooperating. I have been a certified professional leadership coach for going on 9 years now, and also a certified chakra healer. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to bring together this idea of our chakras and chakra healing along with managing our careers and managing career stress. Because the way I look at it is all about tying together all of us, our mental state, our emotional state, our physical state, our spiritual state. And all of those components are what make up our energy. So, awesome. Thank you. Oh, good. Jackie and Joyce, thank you very much for saying hello. It's good to see you both. And for letting me know that you can hear me. I'm glad the mic is working right now. So here's what I'm thinking about as I was thinking about this. These days, a lot of us are working in what I would call a VUCA environment. VUCA stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. It is a military term for war environments, right? It's how they train for going into wartime situations. And I just thought, okay, but that's actually kind of apt for how we look at corporate environments these days, right? So if you have a leader, for example, who's always changing priorities on you from week to week or even day to day or shifting your goals, that's volatile. If you're in an environment where there's a lot of reorgs, like I worked for a company once that, I swear to you, every 8 months on the dot, they reorged their entire executive team. Same body, same people, just in different roles, right? That's volatile and that's uncertain because you never knew who was going to be your boss next, and you were guaranteed at least twice a year to have a new boss. If your business is involved, for example, in any sort of mergers and acquisitions, that can be very complex. You're bringing new people and sometimes new products or new service streams into the business environment. If you work at highly matrixed organizations, right? The org charts where people report to other people and there's dotted lines to people and all that good stuff, that's complex and that can be ambiguous. If you work in a place where your annual goals are not clear, right? There's no clarity around what your team is trying to achieve or what you're going to be judged as successful on. There's not a lot of clarity around maybe what your entire department needs to hit or even what the company needs to hit to be defined as successful for the year. Welcome to ambiguous. And there are companies that have all of these challenges. That's your work environment. So now we're going to talk about you. And hello to Jill and to Rachel. Thank you both for joining me. So any of those things I described, ladies, this environment where you've got shifting priorities or you don't know what your priorities are, or there's a lot of shifting people and bodies going on, let me know in the chat if any of those are familiar to you or you're dealing with any situations like that. What I'm talking about are environments that inherently create a lack of security. You're never sure when the next round of layoffs is going to be. You're never fully comfortable that you're solid in your position or that the company is solid. And how we react to that. So if you guys have familiar with this or you have other situations at work that are creating this sense of instability or insecurity, I would love to hear it in the chat. Like, what are those situations that you're dealing with? Because the truth is, they're real. And we're very limited on what we can actually do to manage that. And the impact on us is pretty significant, right? So how do we navigate this? Most of the time we navigate this by working harder. And for those of you who have been with me for a while, you know I'm not an advocate of working harder if we don't have to. Sometimes it's required. But when we work harder in this kind of situation, we're typically working to prove our value, to prove that we deserve to have the job that we have, to prove that we're worth keeping and not going to get caught in the round of layoffs, to prove that we're worth the paycheck they're already giving us anyway. We also will have a tendency to hide, to avoid taking risks, to try to fly under the radar so that if there are going to be layoffs, not us, they didn't even notice us, they didn't see us. We tend to be in this situation very low on communication and very high on avoidance. Now, there's another way that we can show up. We can also show up on the more overt side of playing politics, right? Kind of getting in the fray and trying to manipulate situations, gossiping, right? Trying to push things to go in our favor. We might be expressing our anger or our frustration about the work environment and about its volatility to our coworkers. All of these are signs when we're acting out in any of these ways. These are all signs that our sense of stability and security are being threatened. And that is how we know our root chakra is out of balance. The root chakra is called our Muladhara. It's located at the base of our spine. So your tailbone, right? Think about your tailbone. Think about where you sit on, what you sit on. Muladhara, that's your root chakra. That holds up the rest of you. So when we think about our chakras, think about these spheres of energy, right? These energy sources going, our main 7 chakras go up our spine. And it starts at the root, at the base of our spine, at our tailbone, and the 7th one is our crown chakra at the top of our head. And we'll go through these over the next several weeks so that you're familiar with them. But just thinking, your root chakra is basically the root, the support of you. And that is the role it plays in terms of your energy. So Rachel, I live a situation at work that my priorities are told and given to me daily. It's exhausting. Yeah, when you have to readjust how you're approaching to work or what you're doing that day or what your goals are every single day, it means literally every day you don't know what you're walking into. And that can absolutely be exhausting. It can be stressful. It can be frustrating, right? I mean, just if you don't know, how do you plan? How can you measure your success if every day it's something different? Now, I want to align this to chakras because I think it's important for us to realign together our energy. And energy, as I said earlier, is that combination of how we think, how we feel, how we behave, and just our overall spiritual attitude. So it does not matter what you believe from a cultural, religious, philosophical standpoint. I am not going to talk tonight about your chakras in terms of a spiritual, religious practice. So if you are struggling with this concept of the chakras, I want you to simply think of each chakra as a focal point in your body for certain types of energy, for certain types of thoughts and feelings and actions that we take. Okay, so just think of it as a place in your body where you can focus when we're thinking about this type of energy. Okay? Is everybody good with that? Just drop a Y in the chat if you could let me know, because I want everybody to feel comfortable no matter what your religious practice is. The basic rule here in our community is the golden rule, treating each other with respect. So this is not talking about our chakras, is talking about how we manage ourselves. It's not talking about a particular religious or philosophical point of view, okay? So, with the root chakra, with Muladhara, focus on your tailbone, where you sit, on your bum. Think about being rooted. Thank you, ladies. Think about being rooted and think about being grounded. The root chakra is where our sense of connectedness and purpose live. When we are in alignment with our root chakra, we are at a place where we can say, I am comfortable, I am loved, I am safe, I am okay, I belong here. We feel grounded and connected with ourselves, and that brings us peace in the environment that we're in. When our root chakra is out of balance, we don't feel those things. We can't say that we feel safe. We can't say that we feel grounded or loved or secure. When our root chakra is out of balance, it can go out of balance in two ways. One way is deficient. We can be deficient in our root chakra, or we can be excessive. When it's deficient, it may show up as sinking into a depression, having anxiety, low self-esteem, low energy, low drive, a lack of focus, and a whole lot of insecurity. When we're in the deficient mode of our root chakra, we withdraw from the world. That's when we're hiding. That's when we're staying under the radar. That's when we're trying to avoid confrontations and situations. So if you're feeling any of these things, it could be that your root chakra is out of balance, right? There are things happening with you mentally, emotionally, in your environment that are impacting your spirit and your energy. When it's excessive, right? When our root chakra is in the excess, it shows up a slightly different way. It shows up as overcompensation. We get angry. We're working from a standpoint even of rage sometimes. It shows up as workaholism, working all those extra hours, driving, right, to prove our value. It can show up as hoarding, as greed, right? We are grasping for that sense of security and stability when we are in this overcompensating mode, right? This excessive mode. So we have to grab for what's ours, right? We have to hold on to that. Now, physically, in your body, if your root chakra is out of balance, you could be feeling lower back pain, right? That's where it lives. You could be feeling cramping in your gut, sluggishness. You could have bladder issues. You could be having panic attacks or anxiety attacks. You could have an eating disorder, right? All of these things are signs that we are feeling ungrounded, unstable, and not safe. And that our core functions, right, the root of who we are and how we survive, our core functions are not being supported. So we hide. We hide from the world, or we lash out. Either one of those, lashing out or hiding, it's our way of trying to find security and stability in an environment where we are feeling unsafe. So what I'm going to share with you are some of the ways that we can reground our root chakra. Okay, how do we reground, especially when we're deficient? If we are overcompensating, we want to balance our root chakra, and there may be some other chakras we want to tap into. But especially if we're deficient, if we're in that mode of hiding and feeling insecure and in a slump, right? Not moving, not taking initiative, kind of fear-based living, then we want to reconnect with our root chakra to find peace and stability for ourselves. Because as I said in the beginning, there's little that we can do about that VUCA environment, right? You can't necessarily, Rachel can't change her boss or her management team from coming in and changing her goals every day. She can try to influence that, right? She can do the best she can to speak up, to put boundaries around herself, to let management know this is not a good way of working. But at the end of the day, the one thing she can control and manage is how she's going to show up to that environment, especially knowing that this is what it's like. So we can't change volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous environments necessarily, but we can change the way that we decide to interact with them. So that's what I want to talk about tonight. So using the chakra framework, because the chakra framework, as I walk through some of the ways that you can rebalance your chakra, you're going to see there are lots of ways we can do this that anchor us back to how we're thinking, our mental state, to our emotions, to our sense of spirituality, connectedness, and to our physical body. Lots of options to rebalance yourself. So basically, there's something for everybody in this. All right. So I want you to find what works for you. And if you have done some chakra work or have some things that work for you when you know you're feeling insecure, and it's something I don't mention, by all means, shout it out in the chat. Let me know what you do to help yourself feel more grounded, more stable, more calm when you're in a situation that's very volatile and you're feeling at risk. So first, each of the chakras is affiliated with a color. And so for the root chakra, the color is red. So the idea is, how do you bring more of the color red into your life to help you visually be stimulated, right, into a more solid, secure, stable environment? So you can be wearing red. You can have something red around you. Dirty girl colors include red, right? We are all about finding our own sense of stability and connecting with our sense of self. So wear something red, or wear a piece of jewelry that's red. Put red decor in a room or in your house. Eat red foods. Eat strawberries, eat sweet potatoes, eat pomegranates and beets. They're good for you anyway. So think about the color red when you're thinking about imbalance in your root chakra. Happens to also be my favorite color, so I have no problem incorporating this one. Exercise. Exercise for your lower back and your pelvis. So doing yoga poses, right? Strengthening exercises. Moving slowly like yin yoga, where you hold the poses for longer, allows you to release tension in your muscles and kind of opens up your body. So think about yin yoga poses. It's something that you can do to open yourself up and at the same time be really gentle with your body. Dancing is a great way to shake any energy trapped in your body, right? To just kind of shake it loose, help it flow, and release stress. So I know that 2 weeks ago, I think I gave you guys a homework assignment of putting your favorite songs, right? We're talking about moving energy and shifting to higher energy levels. Music, go dance, do it in your kitchen. Use the carrot or the red food that you're using as your microphone. Don't care, but shake that energy loose. Physically connecting with the earth is a great way to feel grounded. So I know it's winter, but some of you live in southern states. Get outside and be barefoot and literally stand in the dirt. Stand in the grass. Feel the earth beneath your feet. Connect from the root. So standing on the earth, using yoga's mountain pose. So mountain pose is when you stand with your feet shoulder width apart, and you put your hands just down by your sides with your palms facing forward, and you just stand there and breathe and ground yourself. And yes, breathe. A way to help you manage the flow of your breath, to help you ground a little better, right? To help you gain some of that root chakra stability back, is 4 counts in, pause, 4 counts out when you exhale, pause. And just practice that pattern a few times. Breathe in for 4 counts, pause. Exhale for 4 counts, pause. And what you're creating is a regular pattern of your breath to help regulate and anchor your body. For those of you who love gemstones, red gemstones, garnet, red jasper, bloodstone. Carnelian is one of my favorites. You can wear them. You can place them around your yoga mat if you're practicing yoga. You can place them in your rooms, on your desk, somewhere where you can feel and access whatever type of energy that gives you. But if you like the gemstones, go find yourself the red stones. Bloodstone and carnelian are my favorite. They're easy to find, but obviously garnet, red jasper. There's a few others, but those are kind of the core ones you'd want to look for. For those of you interested in essential oils, again, when we're talking about the chakras and we're talking about grounding ourselves, we're talking about all of our senses. Okay? So if you like essential oils, then the oils and the scents, right? The smells that are affiliated with your root chakra include frankincense, sandalwood, rosewood, cedar, clove, and myrrh. So frankincense, sandalwood, rosewood, cedar, clove, and myrrh would be the scents. Now, when you think about those are very warm, right? Earthy scents that you'd be bringing in to help ground yourself. Mantras. I know a lot of people feel that mantras are kind of goofy. If you're one of my clients, you know I actually push you to work with mantras. Not because I'm trying to push a particular method on you, but because I know they work even when they feel goofy. Here's the deal. We have a talk track in our head all the time. That voice in our head tells us what? We're not good enough. We're not fast enough. We're not pretty enough. We're not thin enough. We're not enough. The talk track in our head is often our gremlin voice, and especially if our root chakra is out of balance, that voice is getting to the root of the things that make us feel insecure. Okay? So a mantra is a way to reprogram the talk track in your head. So while it feels goofy and silly the first time you say it, especially if you're saying it out loud, you're going to feel all kinds of awkward. And that's okay, because it also works. Once my clients get practiced with their mantras, they realize they are replacing a talk track. It is reminding them of who they are at their core, or what they believe at their core. And we have mantras for different situations. When it comes to the root chakra, when it comes to that feeling of insecurity and instability, I'm afraid I'm going to get fired. I'm afraid that next year they're going to lay me off. I'm afraid that I'm not going to hit my goals this quarter. I'm afraid my boss is going to be in a bad mood, right? All these things in this VUCA environment that we can't control that are creating this fear and this insecurity in us. Mantras can help us rebalance to what can we control? What can we do? Who are we in this moment? So mantras that have these kinds of, you can use these or you can pick your own, but basically you want to stick to the words that are about grounding into the root of yourself. It is, I am centered. I am whole. I am safe. I am loved. I trust myself. I belong. I am strong. I am stable. I am at peace. Now here's the thing. These are all qualities that you are bringing to yourself. Your job may not be stable. Your work environment may not be peaceful. Your home environment may not be peaceful. You may not trust your boss or your coworkers. You may not feel particularly centered because there's so much chaos going on as we round out the end of the year and we're into the holidays and we're trying to hit into your goals and work is so stressful. The mantra brings you back to you. Who do you want to show up as? Who do you want to be in that moment that you are stepping into the VUCA environment? Whether it's the home environment or the work environment or the combination of the two. I am safe. I am loved. I trust myself. That's me. I help myself feel safe by trusting myself. I love myself. I trust myself. I know other people love me. I can count on that. Right? Find the mantra. Find the phrases and the words that are going to anchor you back into the root of you. But keep in mind, when we're dealing with the root chakra, it's about feeling safe, stable, and secure. So what are the words or what are the phrases that are going to bring you back to feeling safe, stable, and secure? I strongly recommend that you do take time to get to the root of the fear that's been triggered. Something triggered this imbalance, right? Something created this imbalance. It could be a moment, it could be a long-term situation, but the more awareness you have over what's triggering this sense of insecurity, what's created it, the easier it will be for you to find what's the right tool for me to push through this, to get past this. So you want to regain your sense of stability and equilibrium and peace. So getting to the root of what triggered this, right? What brought you to this place where you're feeling like your root chakra is imbalanced? Could be just talking to a friend. It could be going to a therapist or talking to your coach. Could be journaling, right? But find ways to give yourself mental time and space and find ways to explore, okay, why am I feeling like I'm about to get fired at work? What even put that thought in my head? Who said I was going to get fired? Maybe I just feel like I'm not doing a good enough job. Why am I not doing a good enough job? How true is that? Really want you to ask yourself question after question after question, exploring where did this trigger come from and how real is it? And once I know, let's just say, for example, I know that, okay, it's not a real thought that I'm doing bad work. In fact, I've been told I do good work. So this feeling of insecurity must come from me thinking I could do better. So now my mantra might include something like, I am doing the best I can. I am doing what's expected of me. I am safe. I am secure. I am doing what I need to do. This root chakra and this sense of security, it's all about survival. When you think of Maslow's hierarchy, right, it kind of lives here. Our physical safety, our mental safety, our emotional safety. It's all here. All right. So the root chakra, Muladhara, energy center in your body that holds that lowest, really the lower orders of Maslow's hierarchy. It's our survival energy. It's fight or flight. It's where that lives. So core energy that helps us power through each day. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start with this one, is just if our root chakra is out of balance, it's really hard to have anything else in our chakras line up. Because at our core, we're already off kilter. I want you guys to be able to get through the holidays and all of next year with as much light and grace and strength as possible. And to reduce anxiety and fear and dread and stress, because it just makes us exhausted. So having more awareness around where our energy shows up, how it shows up in our physical body. Are you prone to stomach cramps and stomach aches? Are you prone to back aches? And does your lower back in particular hurt? Do you have panic attacks or anxiety attacks? Is there an eating disorder, right? Are you a binge eater when I'm stressed? Right? These are the signs that, okay, something's out of alignment. What can I do to go rebalance myself, right? Our physical body gives us clues. The thoughts in our head gives us clues, right? What's the talk track in our head? If it's speaking to the root of our insecurities, you're going to get fired because you're not good enough, right? They're going to leave you behind. They're going to kick you out. You don't belong. If it's getting to those core feelings of insecurity, it's your root chakra. And you can work with all of these tools I've just talked about. Work with color, work with food, work with music and body movement and gemstones and scents. Work with all of your senses to root yourself back into you. You, because you are the one thing that you can control in this VUCA environment. Our energy, what we bring to the table, it's how we show up. That is who we are. It's our beliefs and our physical conditions and our emotions and our behaviors all connected. That's our energetic expression. That's who we are. So whatever tools work to help you manage that energy, do it. Use the tools. Whatever you need to do to rebalance your root chakra so that no matter how much that VUCA environment is swirling around you and creating chaos, whether it's at work or at home, you show up as your most strongest, anchored, and confident self. So, questions. You guys have been great in the chat, but if you have questions about chakras, because chakras is the first time I'm really talking about chakras much in our group, I'm going to spend the next couple weeks talking about a couple of our other chakras and how we rebalance those and the impact that has on how we show up at work and how we manage our careers. But if you have requests, I would love to hear them. Any requests about specific chakras or specific techniques, more about gemstones or incense or yoga, let me know, and I'm happy to bring that to the table as well. In the meantime, if you would like to talk about your root chakra being out of balance or anything else being out of balance for you as you're navigating your career, I invite you to join me in a 15-minute mini dig. It's a free 15-minute coaching session where we just get to know each other and get you to one action step closer to your goal. So it's 15 minutes of coaching focused on you, where you are, where you're going, and how do we move you into action to get there a little faster, to get you closer to your goal. So if you're interested in that, drop the word dig in the chat and I will reach out to you to get that scheduled. It's a sales-free zone, not selling anything, having a chat to get to know you better and to see if I can help. That's literally what that is about. So would love to talk to you. Drop the word dig below and we'll schedule that free 15-minute chat. And in the meantime, I hope you guys have a fabulous week. I hope you think about that list that I provided and figure out what you can do for yourself this week to ensure that you are managing your root chakra so that you have a great foundation of stability and security in yourself, no matter what craziness is going on around you, at work, at home, kind of with everything. It's just that time of year. All right, ladies, have a great night. And as we say in yoga, the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.